I understand that Councilor Del Rosario is here. He's very vicious and mean, but he's going to be on his best behavior tonight. Isn't that right, Councilor? Welcome. I want to start off by saying I have season tickets.
I saw you dancing salsa there. You enjoyed it.
I just want to say that I like what I like about what's going on tonight is that we're doing things the right way. And we had a conversation about making sure that any park is brought before the council for a permit, and you're doing that. And so right away, we're off to a very good start. So thank you for doing that. This is, you're going to be using the warehouse park from June 19th to September 12th from 6 to 9 p.m. For music, mostly musical acts, I believe, right? Music? Okay. The only thing I would add, now that you're here, is it can get a little loud sometimes. Just be mindful of that even in that area. I realize there's a lot of mills around there, but we think that there's nobody living in there, but sound does bounce just because of the acoustics. So I'm not saying that you can't have a great event, but just be mindful sometimes that the music can sometimes, based on the act, can sometimes rise to a level where it can be burdensome to other people who are maybe living in the area. That's that. I have nothing else to say on this, but I'm looking for a motion or questions.
Comment.
Well, Councilor Santiago.
I want to say thank you, Jenny, for everything you do.
I can't listen you. I'm so sorry.
Okay. I want to say thank you, Jenny, for everything you do in this organization to show our kids, our culture, our history, our music, arts, and the kids, they can go frequently to our DR, but you bring everything from the DR for us. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you too, because I know this is, I love that. And I'm happy because the community enjoy what Ateneo is doing. Thank you very much. And remember, June 19, this is the first one. Okay, thank you.
Motion to send to full council with a
Second.
favorable recommendation.
Motion made by Councilor Del Rosario, seconded by Councilor Santiago. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Ms. Garcia, please come next Tuesday night for the final vote by the full council. Thank you.
Thank you very
We'll
much.
see you.
Thank
All right.
you. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Next document is 18425, evangelism outreach at the Campagnon Common on June 8th. Who is here to speak? There we go. Thank you.
Hello, God bless you.
Thank you. God bless you.
Yes, I'm here to represent the body of Christ by name, Praise Tabernacle Worship Church, located at 15 Union Street. And our mission is to reach out to the public to introduce Christ in their lives. Because many are dying, many are weary, and the Bible says we should reach out to them and spread the gospel so that they will know who is their Savior. And I'm here today to represent the church, and we'll be having the occasion June 8th on Sunday, just to let the public know who is Christ as their Savior in their lives.
Anybody wants to, I have the same issue. I don't see that nice form on there with the approved. I don't see that. That would make it really easy if I saw it. Have you went to the recreation department? Have you asked, have you seen if the space is available?
Yes, please.
And what did they say?
They told me space is available on Sunday, June 8th.
Do you have something from them that can show us that, like, that can verify that?
The application is filled.
We have the, can you, maybe this, is that an updated form? Maybe that's updated. Can you bring that up, please? No, this doesn't have it. So a couple of things. We're not very fussy usually on these things, but the one thing that we do ask for is that we don't want to be embarrassed and have a conflict and have two different events at the same time. Councilor Del Rosario mentioned an event that took place last year, the year before, and they were right next to each other, and it didn't work out all that great. So we want to avoid that whenever we can. So it's important, I'm gonna recommend to this committee that because of the date, that we send this up to the full council pending some information. But what I need from you is something that shows that, from the Recreation Department, that says that they don't have a conflict, it's available for that day.
Also, I have to go back to them and,
Yes, because right now, I'm not sure how this committee is going to vote. They may send it up. I'm guessing that might happen. But at the full council level, so we don't have any delays, we need to have something from you that says that that date is free, that there's no conflict, that you can have it without any reservations. You're good. So, does that make sense? It could be an email, it could be a note. It's got to be something from the Recreation Department. I mean, we're not particularly fussy. We just don't want to make sure that there's a conflict. That's all.
all right, I will reach out to them and,
Let's see how the motion goes on this. Go ahead, Councilor Del Rosario.
Through Chair, I have a question, because it says outreach. Are you gonna be inside the park, or you gonna be outreaching the people throughout the sidewalk?
we are going to be inside the park,
So
and
how you-
mount a stage and preach the word.
Okay, and so how you gonna do the outreach? Are you gonna announce it to people come in, or how you gonna?
Yeah,
do
we
the
have
outreach?
flyers that we want to reach out to the public so that on that day they'll be aware that there's something coming up, so they will attend to hear the gospel, the word of God.
Okay, thank you. Motion to send to the full council with a favorable recommendation pending authorization or availability from the Recreation Department.
Okay, motion made by Councilor Del Rosario, seconded by Councilor Santiago. Do you also want to talk about noise, or you didn't mention that too? You want to talk about that?
So hopefully you heard me saying to the other gentleman that last summer,
Yeah.
we had the most complaints for the churches at the park with the big noise. So hopefully you take that into consideration and try to
Sure.
keep it as low as possible so we don't get as many complaints.
Sure, we promise.
Thank you.
Thank you. God bless you.
Motion made, properly second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Please come next Tuesday, 7 o'clock meeting, right here.
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
All right, thank
Yes,
you. God
yes,
bless
sir.
you.
Thank you. Next document is document 198, childcare parking at 411 High Street.
Hi, my name is Christian Cornelio, and this is my mother, Gracie German. I'll be speaking on behalf of her. So my mom runs a daycare under Bethel Childcare, and she is just wondering if she would be able to get like a sign of some sort to let people know, like, not to park in front of the house, because there's been some difficulty with parents and private child transportation to be able to park in front of our house, just so it's just an easier drop off and pick up for the children. So that way, like small, like 5-year-olds aren't like walking across the street, like just make it easier for them, and that's basically it.
So, you know this ordinance better than anybody else. So there's timeframes, if this gets passed, there are days and times that are already instituted that, what are the dates, what are the times, for example, Councilor Vice Chair? So it's not all day, so it's 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the afternoon, just drop off and pick ups only on those designated times. And it's Monday through Friday, or is it all week? Do we know? I'm putting you on the spot, and I'm sorry.
Okay. So we have some regulation to assign the sign.
Okay.
We can have the sign to pick up and drop off. It's like 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the afternoon. When the bus coming, you can have this activity, and you have the sign there, and also, but it's not for all day.
Okay. So, dicen que la enseña va a estar ahí como 2 horas en la mañana y después 2 horas en la tarde. No hay para el día entero. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, we can say the updated what is the time for you look at it.
Okay.
I don't have it in front of me right now, but we can send to you guys.
Okay.
If you keep your information to Maria, after that, you send the whole information to you guys.
Okay.
So there you go. Do we have to send it to, do we send it to the police department like we normally would? We need to do that. So, go, do you want to make a motion?
Motion to send to police department for review.
Motion made by Councilor Del Rosario, second by Vice Chair Reyes. Discussion. Councilor, this has nothing to do with these individuals right here. This just has something to do, I just want to bring it to your attention. So we've received all of this. It's in a language that I can't read and understand. It's not necessarily their fault. Tell me if I'm out of line on this, so if you agree, that before we grab something like this, put it on the agenda, that we ask the petitioners that they have something that translates so that someone like myself, or for the record, can get in the English language as well. So it's not their issue, but I think at the clerk's office, that's where they would have to stop it, not here. So that's an internal discussion. So we're good with that? Okay. All right. So that's it. So we're gonna go to the police department. There's a motion, so they're gonna come back with a recommendation. So we'll figure that out when it happens. We don't know when they'll do it.
Right.
But it's going through the process.
Okay.
Motion's been made and properly seconded. Any further discussion? So then I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. So, there you go. Someone should get in contact with you, I hope, once we find out what the police recommendation is and we have a vote here.
Okay.
Okay?
Great. Thank you so much.
You're right. Okay. Next is document 13125. This is Fiesta's show, Semana Hispana, Campagnon Common. Well, there we go. June 8th through the 16th. Didn't we just say yes on June 8th?
June 7th.
June 7th? What's the dates? I'm
June
just
8th to the
curious.
15th.
What is it?
June 8th to the 15th for us.
Well, we just went through something on that date. Okay.
Well, the reason why we asked for the...
Just give your name so we can
Okay,
have it.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
My name is Marlene de Jesus, and I'm the Vice President of Semana Hispana. Hello, everyone. The reason why we asked for June 8th is because it's been done throughout the years since we have the carnival setting up on Sunday. It's approved.
Nothing's been approved yet. The festival's been approved.
The festival is approved.
But not, this is the carnival. This is something different. This is the carnival for those days. The festival's been approved on a different date. So this is different. They're looking for the common on 2 dates. We approved one for the festival. This is for the carnival rides, a second date. All right, so this is probably the right time for me to give my colleagues an update. So 2 weeks ago, maybe, I forget the exact date, I had a chance, and I think I told you all about it. I went to the Gateway Park and I met with an official with MVRTA. And I thought it was important that I actually go on the site, walk the site, and see visually and walk it to know exactly what the space is for any kind of carnivals. Understanding that last year this place was already utilized. There was a Puerto Rican cultural event that was used there. Here are my findings from going there. There is the Stone Mill and the Everett Mill. Both of them are starting to increase with people living there. There are contractual obligations that require that spaces remain open, parking spaces for people, for those two facilities. And the spaces that could have been there last year that allowed the Puerto Rican festival to take place are not available this year. So the actual ability to use that location has been reduced significantly. Only essentially, if you can think about it, only the perimeter of the space can be utilized for any activities. The very middle of it cannot be utilized for anything, frankly, because they've made commitments to the people who are living there and to others that have those spots. So I just wanted to report back to the committee that I did have that conversation. I did go over there. I did try to figure out what can we possibly do. That's the first thing that I wanted to bring to the committee's information. The second thing I want to provide to the committee is through the ARPA monies was $1 Better Lawrence, what's it called? Whatever the,
Thriving?
Driving Lawrence?
Thriving Lawrence. Mhm.
Thriving Lawrence, through the Thriving Lawrence program, where we had
Grant?
an audiovisual presentation by Sue Fink, Ms. Fink last week, and we also had a spreadsheet as well inside there. What we learned was that Semana Hispana was awarded $100,000 for their festival, and they apparently didn't spend it last year, and so the idea, this is what I was told by the the financial people, is that there's $50,000 there that they can utilize now because there's bills from last year, because remember, this is a reimbursement, but they could be reimbursed for the bills from last year and use it this year. So there's the ability for them to have $50,000 from the ARPA monies from Thriving Lawrence to utilize for the festival.
It's a lot going on right now.
There's a lot going on, and I'm almost done, and then I want you to fill in the gaps, because I'm sure I'm missing some stuff. That's the step. And then the second thing, which I just found out within the last 48 hours, is that the administration has cut the $100,000 to just $50,000. So even if they were to go ahead and to spend the $50,000 and then get reimbursed for $50,000 more, which would be $100,000 if you add them together before the end of this fiscal year, they're not going to be able to do it. All they have is $50,000 now. So they're not going to be able to access $100,000. The most they're going to be able to access is $50,000. So that's what I've learned. That's the most recent information that I have on this. I'll let it, so you can fill in the blanks. What other information do you have besides what I just said?
I'm just trying to understand what is the $50,000 or $100,000 has to do with us running the festival.
Sure. So the reason why you tell me, this is a fundraising, I'm told, by
Yeah, it is
your-
a fundraising.
Your leader has said that this is an ability to raise money for the festival.
Yes.
The city has stepped in and has provided at least $50,000. It's probably going to be it from what I'm told, but $50,000 for that, so there's less burden
Yeah,
for the group to fundraise.
correct.
So what does it have to do? There's a direct relationship. If you don't, right now, we don't have a space for the kind of carnival that the group is looking to do. We do not have a public space. I've asked, I've gone around, there is no public space. You may look at, the biggest public space is the one we just talked about, the Gateway Park. That is the biggest public space. There is private space. The Showcase Cinema is a private space. They have allowed for things to happen in the past. But keep in mind that also has to come before the council, even if it's a private space, because there's a special clause in our ordinances that require carnival rides to be approved by the council. So, but I don't know what's going on with that. That's private, and no one's talking about the showcase. We're not dealing with that tonight. So, but I just want my colleagues to be aware that, you know, we're doing what we can to try to find a solution. The city has stepped up with some money, and I realize there's some money that they thought they were going to get that they're not going to get, and that's between the mayor and the organization, not between the council. So I'll stop there and listen to you.
So, my advocacy is for us to continue to run a festival which the community enjoys. And part of this festival has to do with the kids' recreation, right? They enjoy going to the carnival in the machines. This has been going on for 40-something years. I've lived in Lawrence, I'm not gonna say my age, but since I was little, and I remember this been going on since I can remember. So that's my advocacy and our advocacy as a committee. The reason why we're asking for this is because we want the community also to enjoy this, and as well as to help us. Whether or not we have $50,000 or not, this is not how much this festival costs to run it. Our festival costs over $100-something thousand per the festival year. So we need this partnership that we have with Fiesta Show where it allows us to get some of the money that he gives us for us to utilize in other events and other amenities that we need during the festival. And we're very grateful that the city of Lawrence is allowing us to have this money and is helping us tremendously over the few years that we've receiving this. However, our ask is for us to have at least some of the machines or some of the equipment in our festivities, which is gonna make it more. Last year, honestly, the festival was not what everybody was waiting for. We didn't have the same attendance. People, as soon as they found out we didn't have a parade, we didn't have the carnival either. It was not as successful as we always want. This year, we're struggling as well. So we're asking the city council to please pass this forward so we can get it approved. And I get it that the park, there isn't a lot of space, but we will be able to have at least some of the rides there for that the children can enjoy. We tried as hard as we can to have these things in place for the city, right? So Mr. Flynn is here from Fiesta Show. He can attest to you that he does have an insurance that for $10 million, that if there was any damages to, some of the park, it would be covered by that. We're also looking for other things that we can, bring up so we can have some of the machinery. That time that Mr. Flynn was able to put some of the equipment, we did have some of the equipment throughout the park, and there is space that he can probably put a few or some of the, not as many as he used to, but some of like in a lesser capacity, but still to be enjoyable by our community. Where I'm a little like, because we do have a recreation approval form for us, for Semana Hispana. So I'm not sure like if this is it needs to go through this portion of like what we're asking needs to also go through, and we're asking with greatly, like you guys can pass it through so it can go to city council next week.
Right, so I appreciate your advocacy, and it's not easy to stand up and to say what you have to say to defend and to promote what you're trying to accomplish. The concerns that I have is the following, is that even with that amount of money set aside, I've been around here long enough there's been monies like this that have been set aside. I don't believe we've institutionally have allowed for rides to take place without a bond, without some sort of safeguards of monies that are there. Even with those monies, we've spent $2.2 million to rehab that crown jewel in our city. And even with that money, it was not able to repair the problems that we face, whether it's the curbing, whether it's the grass, et cetera, et cetera. And now with the addition of the trees over there, it adds another element there as well. I do not see how, with the kind of the largesse of the festival to make it, your word, successful, how we can accomplish that. I've said to whoever will listen to me, and this is a realization that I just recently have after doing all the due diligence, after doing the research, after going around and checking things out. The message that I have is not something I'm happy to say, but this is the message. I don't think we as a city have the facility, if we're going to protect our public spaces, we don't have a facility to go ahead and do it. Maybe Pemberton Park would be another place that would be a possibility, but we already have licensed, there's contracts with vehicles that are already there. That to me makes a lot of sense, and I realize there's a cost with respect to the river, but at least there's space there. But even that we can't use because of the contracts that we have with the truck, whoever has parked their cars there. So I don't see, and I hate to say this because I like to think of our city as we can do everything for everybody. But sometimes we have limits because of the size of our city. We're 6.6 square miles. Everything, we're building and building and building. We don't have the spaces, we don't have a lot of the spaces that we do have. We're trying to put money toward them to try to beautify them. And sometimes we just can't do it. I don't think we can do a carnival in our public spaces like you imagine. I think we could do something smaller. I think maybe at Gateway Park, we could do something for children. Maybe there's an opportunity there where, you know, we'd have to work with MVRTA. They're the custodians of that property. They don't necessarily own it, but they're the fiduciary responsible party for that location. So they have a lot to say about that, and they have obligations they have to honor.
Yeah.
So we just can't force them. We can't tell them. We have to work with them for that to happen. I can tell you from where I sit that I would be supportive of something that's smaller, that really deals with the families, that really deals with the children, and bring them there and have some rights and do something there where you could have a festival there. And it's not going to be what the bigger stuff, but it's something that's going to be family oriented if that's what you choose. So I'll stop there because other colleagues have a chance, and maybe you want to say something more.
I do want to add something. It also has to do, and we've done the same thing. We've gone around and looked at all the spaces, and none of it worked for us with our vision, because it's going to be more costly for us to get more of the police involved in another location while we have to pay a lot of money for the police in a different location. So it's not cost effectively, and it's not exactly what we want, because you know, it's hard to bring your child to another place, hang out there, and then come back and enjoy the music, enjoy the food in another place. So it doesn't, logistically, it does not work. And I don't think Mr. Flynn said we are not able to put a lot of rides there either. It's the place is very small as well. I don't know if you can add to that. It is part of our revenue to have this carnival during our festivities.
I've said my piece. I'll let my colleagues have a chance to speak or offer a motion, however they want to deal with it. They know how I feel, but. Councilor Del Rosario.
So as much as I enjoy the carnival and the festival, one thing that I always talk to the president of the Semana Hispana, it's the money talk. It's great that you guys need the revenue. It's great that you guys need the money. Mr. Flynn only comes when he has carnivals. Then Mr. Flynn goes, and Mr. Flynn never comes back and asks the city if the city needs anything. And he only comes when it's time for the rides. And nothing against him. It's a businessman, and he only comes when the business is there. But when the city shut down in the wintertime, Mr. Flynn doesn't come by and say, does the park need anything to get it ready for Semana Hispana next summer? So it's more than that when it comes to our city. And again, it's a businessman, and that's what business people do. But I also would like to see that. You know, colleges give, it's scholarship, and they ask for things all year round, but at the end of the day, they'll give back something either to the city or to our kids. Mr. Flynn doesn't. Mr. Flynn will give it to you when he needs the festival here. And again, I'm not against it, to be honest with you. This year, I'm not against it. But I would like to see that also. I don't want to see Mr. Flynn now in the summer. I want to see it in the wintertime when nothing is going on, to get the city prepared for when the carnival is coming.
Mr. Flynn is here, so if we ask.
Well, not just ask. Mr. Flynn is here asking, because you guys are asking for the permission to put the rides. Mr. Flynn comes here to ask for the permission when he comes in. But Mr. Flynn never has come in and said, I want to sit down with the city and said, in the wintertime it's snowing, what the city needs to get the parks ready. So when we come, we ask permission, the parks are ready. Never seen it. And I've been also here over 30 years. Not as a city council, but and again, give it all the kudos to him, because he's a businessman, and that's what business people do. They do business, counting on the profit, not the loss, most of the time. But again, I'm not against it. Whatever my colleagues, to be honest, I'm not against it. Whatever my colleague would like to do, I'm all for it. But I would like to see Mr. Flynn here in the wintertime, where there's no rides, offering something to the city.
I can't speak for him, but I'm sure that if we ask him.
That's okay. They have a bond. He has a big insurance. He gets a big insurance, but that's okay. Let's get all together. Let's get it prepared. What the city needs to get it, so we don't go through this. So we don't think. This is how I see it. It might not be their opinion. Mm-hmm. I would love to see him here in the wintertime, getting prepared, getting the city prepared with us for when the summer comes. If we need anything, you guys need anything from me. Now that I made all the money throughout the summer, and I give something to Semana Hispana, I got a little things to share for the city so you guys get ready for next year. So it doesn't happen that way. But again, once again, and I'm going to repeat myself, I'm going to sound like a broken record. He's a businessman. And that's what business people do. They invest when they need to invest to get profit.
And he's also a human being, and he's been very supportive of us. And I'm sure if we ask him, he would definitely do that for us.
But I mean, I'm all in favor, and I mean, motion to send to full council without a recommendation.
Second.
Motion made to send to the full council without a recommendation has been properly made and properly seconded by Councilor Santiago. Is there any further discussion on this matter?
Okay.
We're not discussion. Councilor Del Rosario.
And again, because I'm not against it, I don't want to kill it here. I also want to give my colleagues an opportunity to express themselves how they feel like it. Regardless of how the vote goes, it's when we make the decision. So I want to give my colleagues also an opportunity to pitch in on their ideas. I said a lot, so.
Sure. So thank you. And did you want to say anything? You don't have to. Mr. Flynn, your name was mentioned. You don't need to speak if you don't want to, but you have the option if you choose to. So don't feel like you're required to come up. If you want to, you can. You don't want to, you don't have to. It's not. You're not required to. Do you want to say something? You can.
I would enjoy to say it.
Please come forward.
Good evening, members of the board. I'm John Flynn. I'm the Executive Vice President of Dean and Flynn out of Seabrook, New Hampshire, doing business as Fiesta Shows. I've been doing events on the Common now for, my father, I think about 36 years. Before we did Semana Hispana, every year we did an event for the Parks Department on the Common. All the funds from the event went to the Parks Department to help whatever they wanted to do on that Common. Before that, we raised, I want to say, over $100,000 for the Boys and Girls Club of Lawrence, which we used to do events on the Common for the Boys and Girls Club. In the middle of the winter, I'm over in Seabrook, New Hampshire. I'm not in Lawrence, you're correct, sir. But anything I could do to help out in the park, I would do. As in the past, when something was needed, I always came up with something for either Semana Hispana, the Parks Department, or the Boys and Girls Club, which, as I said before, we've done numerous events on the park over the years. That's it for me. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
All right. So the last thing I was just going to say, we'll take a motion here in a second, and I agree with my colleague. I do believe in our process. I do believe that all 9 of us need to vote on something like this. I don't want to have it hijacked here. I support the mission, don't support the process. And this is the process, because what hasn't been stated was about 10 years ago, we spent $2.2 million to improve that park. And frankly, every year it's chipping away, literally chipping away. I have a newspaper article that I showed, I'll be showing my colleagues again next Tuesday, about the stance that I took back then, and then wanting to work with the group to try to say, this is our last one, what are we doing? This is our last one, what are we doing? I feel like we keep moving the goal, but this is never the last one. We never figure out what we're doing, and then we're losing opportunities. And I want this group to be strong, vibrant, it has an important mission, and I want it to thrive. I just don't understand why, I do understand why we're looking for a carnival to make that money and raise the money and all that. But because of the way our city is configured, because of our assets, park assets are configured, we just don't have it. And so we have to start, when I say we, I mean you, the organizers, have to start thinking outside the box a little bit. Be creative in how you find the money to run a first-class festival in our city. And maybe it doesn't have big, huge carnival rides. Maybe it just has kiddie rides for families or little ones. We have a very young city. And to bring the little kids there and have them enjoy it at that very young age, how beautiful is that? That's going to be awesome. Yeah. So that's what's changed. We have a fiduciary responsibility to protect our assets, whether it's this building or any building, school buildings, or anything. We have that responsibility that we put the money in, and once we put the money in, we safeguard it, we preserve it. That's my statement. Properly made, properly seconded. If there's no further discussion, I'll call the question. Only a motion to send up without a recommendation. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. You're gonna have a chance to speak to the full council a week from Tuesday, next Tuesday.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
I appreciate it.
All right, so we're gonna go to the top of this. Number 18025, the naming of the Lawrence Rail Trail in honor of State Representative Second Assistant Majority Leader Frank Moran. I've been asked to table that this evening, so I'm looking for a motion to table 18025. Motion made by Council Del Rosario, second by Vice Chair Reyes. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. All right, we got a bunch of handicaps parking. Let's go through them. 18525, handicap parking, 136 Davis Street. Looking for a motion to send this to the police department for their review. Motion made by Council Del Rosario, second by Vice Chair Reyes. Discussion. See no discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. 18625, handicap parking, 114 Summer Street. Looking for a motion. Motion made for police department and DPW's been made and seconded by Vice Chair Reyes. The only reason why I raised my eyes is because we didn't do that for the first one, but we can go back. I just want to be consistent. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Who made the motion on 185? We certainly can make the motion. It would be, is there any objection for us amending that motion? I'm looking for a motion to amend document 18525. Go ahead, Counselor. Motion's been amended. I'm looking for a second. Seconded. Looking for any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. 18725, handicap parking at 31 Sergeant Street.
Motion to send the police department and DPW for review.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Del Rosario, seconded by Councilor Santiago. Discussion. See no discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. 18825, handicap parking at 23 Summit Ave.
Motion to send the police department and DPW for review.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Del Rosario, seconded by Vice Chair Reyes. Discussion. Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. 18925, handicap parking at 45 Bennington Street.
Motion to send the police department and DPW for review.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Del Rosario, seconded by Vice Chair Reyes. Discussion. Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. 19025, handicap parking at 196 Bruce Street.
Motion to send the police department and DPW for review.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Del Rosario, seconded by Vice Chair Reyes. Discussion. See no discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. 19125, handicap parking, 25 Woodland Street. Looking for a motion.
For the police department and DPW for review.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Santiago, seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Discussion. Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Let's slow down on this one. 192. 19225 is remove handicap parking on Elm Street. Sometimes we have information in the packets. Okay, so this is interesting. So I'm reading the petition. This is you're requesting a new handicap sign for 23 Summit Ave, which we have sent up, so that's good. And now he's looking to withdraw the one at this address, which would be 71 Elm Street. So, we have a choice. We could take him at his word. We can send the police department there. To me, it's up to you, the council, how you want it, the committee, how they want to go with that. Ultimately, it needs to have a public hearing, ultimately. Anybody have thoughts? Strong opinions on this? Do we want to send it to the police, or do we just want to send it to over a public hearing? That's the question.
Motion, yeah. Motion to send the full council for, motion to send the full council for recommendation with intention to withdraw.
To withdraw, I don't think, no, you want, no. You want to remove it, you want to remove the handicap parking. Order a public hearing to remove it. So he did two different things here. If you look at document number 188,
Also for removal.
188, he's moved. So where his new location, 23 Summit Ave, we just voted to the police department. His old address is on Elm Street. That's what he wants removed.
So I'll withdraw my motion.
Okay, so now we should need a motion. We're either gonna send it up to order a public hearing, or we're gonna have the police take a look at it. That's our choice.
Motion to send to full council for recommendation or order approval here.
Second.
Motion made by Council Del Rosario, seconded by Council Santiago. Discussion? See no discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. 19325. Move handicap parking on 3 Danforth Street. Give me a second so we can read that again. So this individual says that there's a handicap sign in front of their house. It belonged, well, I'm gonna use quotes, it never belongs to the person, but it was there because of their previous owner. And that previous owner, obviously no longer there. So they're looking to have this removed. Why did they give me why would they send their driver's license? I mean, it's a great picture, but okay, so, again, we have a choice. We can send it up to order a public hearing, or we can have the police take a look at
Motion to
it.
send to full council for recommendation or order approval here.
Second.
Motion made by Council Del Rosario, second by Vice Chair Reyes. Discussion. Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor say aye. Aye. The ayes have it. That was Vice Chair Reyes, the second, that one. So the next one is document 19425. This is to remove handicap parking at 23 North Boylston Street. I don't have any information here. Does anybody have anything on there? Oh, wait a second. Councilor Levy. This. What I would like on this one, Councilor Levy is not here. There's no background information. On this one, I would feel more comfortable sending this to the police department for their review. That's what I would feel more comfortable doing, just because there's no backup information on here.
Motion to send item 194 to police department for review.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Del Rosario, seconded by Vice Chair Reyes. Discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. 195 is loading zone at 377 Essex Street. So, on these loading zones, I'm gonna presume that no one else can park there in a loading zone. They can't park there at 7 in the morning, they can't park there at 2 in the afternoon, and they can't park there at 8 o'clock at night, or they can't park there on the weekends. This person is asking this because he's got a business. What I don't know, and is the conflict with DPW. They want some uniformity with their signs. I understand the reason why. We also have a parking crunch in the city, where the longer we hold out parking, the harder it is. I don't know if there's any other, there must be an issue, because they're looking, parking issue, or else they wouldn't be asking for there to be a loading zone. I'm speaking out loud because I don't have an answer. So I'm kind of thinking. So, in a perfect world, I would like to only do it when they need it, not do it all the time, because I like to free up the streets for the public to be able to access it. But I don't know how doable that is. We could send it to the police department for their review and then come back. That would be, we can kick the can there, I guess.
And through you,
Yeah.
Chair, there's also parking meters all over Exeter Street.
Good point. And the
Something
question
like-
is, does that override the parking meters?
No, nothing overrides the parking meters. I don't think, since the parking meters were placed, even permit, we've been doing it before the parking meters started running and after the parking meters stopped working. That's the conversation we'd have here, when they do the 15 minutes or the 20 minutes on those business areas. We respect the parking meters.
So we wouldn't do anything,
We can
Go
send
ahead.
to police department and also to send to,
Heine?
no, to Hootent, to have the
Attorney Hooten.
opinion for the legal position, to know it.
So the question to Mr. Hooten, to your point, would be, can we put
I want to know, say, we can
Contract.
put the play, loving song, they cannot be, worried about the parking meters, because if they want to put the loving song, maybe the person requested, thinking in mind, maybe they can parking and do delivery or something like that, and they don't need to pay the meter, so I want to be clear on that part. Because we have a business and asking for the same accommodation.
Through you, Chair, in a
Sure.
perfect world, I would love to see one day that they come in, unload, upload, one day a week, but that would be in a perfect world, right? So,
Sure.
I mean, I think Essex Street, it's, again, this is my opinion regardless of what we're gonna do, but on Essex Street, it's up the hill to put a loading zone. That means, a loading zone, like you said, it's to prevent anybody to park there at any time while the business is open. Essex Street is downtown, basically, so people will park, besides this appliance business, there's more business, and they're not even here, at least to explain to us. And we know the situation, they might not be to be here, but we know the situation on Essex Street and the parking spots, but, I mean, we should send that to the police and let the police come back with a recommendation. I believe that they will concur with what I'm saying. I mean, Essex Street, parking meters, all the business, a loading zone take 2 or 3 parking spots. If it's a truck that's gonna be delivered, so it's 2 or 3 parking spots that you're gonna lose throughout the day for people to go to do business and buy in the other stores on Essex Street, so, something to think about.
So the vice chair made a point, which is that she wants to figure out what the legality is with respect to putting something like a loading zone in a place where there's already a meter. Councilor Del Rosario, I think you're a step ahead. I think you've got to a conclusion on that. I think the council here is not where you are with respect to that kind of certainty and would like a legal opinion on that. It's what I'm hearing. So I think, out of respect to, and I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying to give some peace of mind to my colleague, to get the attorney's opinion on that, maybe a wise maneuver, and depending on what he says or advice he gives us, then we can then take that motion, whatever he says. If he says, "Oh yeah, you can do it all the time," then we send to the police department, "Okay, all the time," and see what they say, and then we can figure that out what we want.
We can do that. Also, keep in mind, that's not the only appliance store on Exeter Street.
So if you open up that, your point is, Gotcha.
That's not the only appliance store on Exeter Street. So just keep that in mind. But I can make that motion. I can make a motion to send it to the police department and also to Attorney Hooten for a legal opinion.
you can, certainly that would be in order. I'm not saying it's not in order. That would be in order. I would think that we'd want to get the first step first, legal first, before we go to the police, because once we figure out the legal aspect, then we can tailor our request to the police department.
Sure. So I amend the motion, send it to Attorney Hooten for a legal opinion.
All right, the motion to send this document to the Attorney Hooten to determine whether or not we are contractually permitted to go ahead and place loading zone areas where there's already meters. It's been made by Councilor Del Rosario, I believe seconded by Vice Chair Reyes. Any further discussion? See no discussion. I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Let's go into a city attorney. No parking at 19625, no parking on 96 100 Railroad Street. Counselor, I think it's your item.
Yeah, I would like to make a motion to send this to the police department and also DPW for their review.
Motion made by Councilor Del Rosario, seconded by Vice Chair Reyes. Discussion?
Discussion.
Councilor Del Rosario. Go
Through
ahead.
you, Chair. This
Yeah.
is just a spot where there is a house, but they have parking on the back, but they park on both sides, and there's just an entrance on that. Basically, that's, the Railroad Street dies there with May Street, and when you're trying to turn, you can't turn. An emergency vehicle won't be able to turn if it's parking on both ways. And there's not even a block, so if we can, eventually, if it gets approved by the DPW and the police department, it will be a great help for the community or for any emergency to happen, and that's why I brought that in.
Okay. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The next document is document number 19725. You'll see more information on this one. I actually like this an awful lot. Look at all the detail in here. Isn't that fantastic? Gives the dates and times and hours, although that doesn't, what they're asking for may not jive with our ordinance, but
Oh, you see, I took pictures.
I saw your pictures. I was gonna give you an attaboy.
That's
Yeah.
the length of the thing, from there to there.
Yeah. And thank you for doing that. I saw the photo. That's really helpful, actually. Thank you. Same pictures 3 times. That's how good that picture is. So they're looking for 15-minute parking. This is interesting. This is not the childcare one. I don't think they're looking. Even though it's a daycare.
Yeah, it's 15-minute parking for safe drop off and pick up.
So we're gonna use the day.
Of course.
I don't have a problem. No, go right ahead. What do you got?
Maria Helen. That request near 129 Trenton Street. Actually, my parents live right by next door, and right now it's very, very. They switched the streets because it used to be one way going up, now it's going down, and just like that, there's no parking on that street because we get parking from the other streets around because there's a lot of houses there that they rent rooms. So it's packed right now. My parents have a driveway and it's literally hard for them to get even out of the driveway. Sometimes it's blocked. So this house is really right next when it's up on the hill, like towards Front Street. And they just bought the house. They've been there probably about a month. And just right now, it's horrible in there to park. I myself go visit my parents mostly like every week. And even for myself, just to see how bad it has gotten on that street, it's really bad. So I would just like to consider, because my parents are elderly, I mean, they're in their 70s, and my mother drives a lot. My father doesn't even want to drive anymore because just coming down and finding parking space to get in the driveway is a hassle, even to get out too, because it's a one-way street. There's parking on both sides. They block the driveway, and you really have a small space to back up your car.
Okay. So are you supporting or opposing this request?
I'm opposing that, of course.
Okay.
And I'm doing it for my parents, and across the street, there's an elderly person that lives there too. I know them for years. And both houses across the way, they rent rooms. And it's like, and plus cars come from the streets from the other streets that they change the directions and they park there. I have pictures that they were like commercial vehicles parked on the street. And you can't tell them anything because they get mad at you.
So,
And I'm doing that as a citizen,
I understand.
because basically that's my house too.
I mean, through you, Chair.
Councilor Del Rosario.
But
Go ahead.
isn't, I mean, it won't be a permanent not parking, it will be a couple of hours in the morning, then a couple of hours in the afternoon, like if it would be like a school bus stop, that's how, I mean, we haven't seen it, I'm gonna send another correspondence to DPW, we haven't seen it, I guess we requested a draft
That's fine.
or how the sign is gonna look, but it's not gonna be all day, and it's also, I think that we need to send them to the police and have them come back with it. What I'll suggest is that you or your mom trying to, contact the police and see when they go in there so they can see the situation, and maybe by they seeing and looking at it, they come back with the resolution or what we can do there or we cannot do. But it's not gonna be a permanent no parking. It should be 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the afternoon.
No, that's fine with me, as long as they reach out to the neighbors first too, because like right now, even, we have basically, my house is like, the only one house that has like a little bit more of driveway, that can fit 4 cars, and the other ones are kind of like they don't. And everyone parks on the street now, it's like packed. And especially, one house has like more than 20 cars, because I just go there and I basically have to park further down the street towards Boswell Street, because there's no parking.
Okay. Go ahead, you wanna say something? No?
Yes, I want to say something. I want to echo what my colleague mentioned. It's only 2 hours to pick up in the morning. I think it's 7 to 9, and then it's I think it's 2 to 4 or something like that. I can review. The reason the person requests the kind of sign is because she offers service with different kind of children with a special need. When they both came, they both don't have any space to pick up and drop off the child. That is the reason this person requests the sign, because it's very hard when they go to pick up or drop off the children. I think it's not permanent, and the sign is very specific from what time to what time.
I'm fine if there's gonna be, and they're gonna be following the rules, because even if they have handicapped people, there's quite a few that lady further down the street, she has handicap parking, and, she lets other people park there because she doesn't own the street, so, but even though there's people that they come in, they take her parking away, and then they don't wanna move the vehicle, because there's other parking spaces available there. Most of them on that street, it's been bad. Like I said, especially when they switch the direction, you'll see more cars parked now than there was before.
I think we can send we have a recommendation and send the correspondence with the people requesting. How is the ordinance? It's not like assigned to parking there for the whole day, or the space you can use whatever you want. We have the ordinance, and what is very specific. I can be in touch with the person and also explain. It's not like a whole day sign. It's like a specific pick up and drop off, and also after that we can wait in the DPW and police department recommendation.
So what's the motion? The motion is send it to the police department and DPW for their recommendation? Is that the motion?
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Vice Chair Reyes, seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Any further discussion? See none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. I think that's it for, wait, no, we got one more? We have one more. We have one. 2025, 30-minute, we'll get to Council Santiago. Give me a second. 2025 is 30-minute parking on Essex Street between Winter and Oxford Street. Looking for a motion.
Motion.
Police
Motion
Department.
to send to DPW and police department.
Motion made
Second.
and seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Discussion. Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. The ayes have it. Did we miss 198? No, we did that already. Councilor Santiago, do you have some items you want to bring up tonight?
Yes, first you are at 447, 447, on the table.
Can you say the number again, please?
447,
477. Do you have it on the agenda? You see it? What page are you on? 4?
Yes.
447. Oh, the historic Rollins clock. Go ahead, Councilor.
We want to request to update because the last time they supposed to say no money, but that's no excuse. I don't think that's not the excuse because they have money for something else. And to replace the clock, we have priority, and I think that's one of them.
Okay. So what would you like to do on this item, Councilor?
To send all the requests, to update what happened with the fix the clock.
And to DPW and Finance Director, it's just the same as last time, or is there going to be a different motion?
And I would like to involve the school department.
If you don't mind me asking, why would you, the school, what, we could do whatever, but why the schools? They have no, the jurisdiction for the maintenance of our buildings is DPW. I believe. I mean, I think we obviously work, there's janitorial staff, for example, that work in the schools. Of course, they pay for that, the school department does, but whenever there's any kind of fixes, oftentimes it's DPW's jurisdiction, and we'll learn about this in the budget, but there's cost shares. I don't wanna get too much in the weeds here between the city and the schools on some stuff. I guess we could, yeah, sure, you wanna ask the school? Okay.
Last time they mentioned they don't have budget for fix the clock. You can ask them if they plan to put it in the budget,
That's what I do.
for this year.
The other thing I would recommend is capital improvement budget. So there's a capital improvement budget every year, and this is one of those items where this is capital. Maintaining the clock, I would argue that it's a thing, and it's a capital, so you can make improvements. So I don't know if the operating budget, they have the money for it, but certainly they would consider it on the capital improvement, but whatever you want, this is your item, so we can, however you want to deal with it.
This is the historic building, and that's so beautiful when you walk around the historic building and you want to see many details that the historic building has. And we would like the thing has on it working, and that's make a value. If the thing is not working, it's like a trash. That's why we wanna looking for to repair.
Okay. So there's a motion on the floor to ask for an update on the maintenance of the historic Rollins School Clock Tower. That request is being made to the DPW, the school department. Anybody else, council?
So,
So just those two? Just those two, or the finance as well?
and the finance as well, because
Okay.
we wanna make, if they put in.
Sure. So there's the motion. Is there a second to the motion? Motion made and seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. What else do you have, Councilor?
And 15124. Item 15124.
One fifty.
6.
151? I see it. Thank you. Page 6. Request for status of Veterans Advisory Council.
And just to request update on that.
And who are requesting, the mayor?
Yeah, the mayor office.
Just keep in mind, now, we do have a fully functional Veteran Service Officer, Director Ortega. Did you want to, I mean, maybe that's would you want to send it to, you can send it to the mayor, you can send it wherever we want to send it to, but I would think that Mr. Ortega.
Mr. Ortega is,
Might be the best,
Yeah.
a really good place to find out. So, is that your motion?
send the update to Mr. Ortega in
Okay.
mayor office.
Just Mr. Ortega?
Mayor
And the mayor.
office.
Motion made to send, and seconded, Mayor, Lisa made the motion. The motion to send update on the 15124 to Mayor DePena and to Veteran Service Officer Ortega has been made by Councilors Santiago, seconded by Del Rosario. Discussion. Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it.
And the last item, 81.
8125?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. I see it right there. So this is the Council for Aging Ordinance Compliance. I'm trying to remember what, the other two I could figure out. Do we remember what the, I'm trying to figure out what this is about. Do you recall what this is about? I'm trying to remember. There's an issue on the ordinance.
As soon as I remember, I think they're supposed to have they're supposed to have the council, and they don't have anything for 5 years.
What day is that? March 4th. Let me look it up. Sarah Brooks, March 4th. Got it. All right, so this is what Mr. Collins put in. Council on Aging, it is imperative that the wording remain intact. It is essential to impart the urgency and egregiousness of the shameful neglect of seniors. To be specific, the board, which has not met in 8 years, has been non-existent during this period, a clear violation. Okay, so we're saying that their board has not been meeting. So I think that's the violation that he's looking for. So he wants to figure out, we're gonna presume who's on the board and why aren't they meeting? I think that's the ordinance, so. I think again, that's a better question for Director Velez, but you wanna send it to the mayor, it's up to you, Counselor, it's your motion. So what would you like to do?
To send, to update Marta Velez and the mayor office.
All right, it's a motion to send document 8125 to Mayor DePena and Martha Velez for an update on this item, which is asking regarding the Council on Aging and the question of who's on it and why aren't they meeting, presuming they haven't met. So is that the motion?
Yes.
Motion made and seconded by Council Del Rosario. Discussion. See now, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Right. Is that it, Councilor? Is there anything else we're missing tonight? Motion made
Second.
by Council Del Rosario, second by Council Santiago. Discussion. Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No, the ayes have it. What is this? What is this?